Right
Yeah.
before we got on, I saw something about Steve Aoki buying a PMG, I think Marvel set for $225,000. So when things like that happen, right? Do you think that makes people more attracted to PMGs when it comes to Marvel, or retract from that situation, or
I
or
think it's
things?
I think it's a good split from what I see within the market. You have the people who they retract from it, and I think it's a negative retraction because they're not excited about it. You know, they're not big fans of it. They think it's hyped. But I think on the opposite, you have the people who are really believing in it. You know, those PMGs are numbered, right? And we're seeing that numbered cards are holding really good value. And we're seeing that the way a lot of these characters are being produced on film and television, man, there's some really good characters that you can just connect with or be passionate about. I have friends that they hit me up. They're not into cards, but they're like, hey, I grew up reading this comic
Yeah.
all the time. Get
Mhm.
me a card when you find it. You know, there's just that connection that they make.
So I know from the bench said some just got worried that they got priced out of it. That's kind of what I was getting at. Are people worried that, man, these PMGs are, if he's spending 225,000, what is he buying, and the price must be going up?
Yeah, yeah. I think, but this is the lesson I think people really need to take from that is um, we say it in sports, prospecting, right? You have to be able to really read the market and try and be ahead of it as best as you can
True.
so that way you
That's
can
true.
benefit from it. You know, I just gave a little strategy of what I do within Star Wars and Marvel. It's Disney has a 4-year plan for both Star Wars and Marvel of what's coming out on Disney Plus and in theaters.
Mhm.
That's some of the best prospecting material you are going to get compared to what we get in the minor leagues and the other leagues that we have for sports,
Yeah.
you know?
So let me ask you this: what movies coming up are getting you excited, or what Marvel content is getting you excited? I know we got
Well,
Moon Knight out right now.
yeah, we
This,
got Moon Knight coming out right now. Definitely when I'm very Doctor Strange, the
I think it's gonna be
multiverse.
nice. I agree. I think it's gonna
Oh
be nice.
man, it's gonna be so. I've loved Doctor Strange since he came out. I think it's a great actor that they have for him.
Mhm.
The whole breaking of the universe is probably one of the most genius things that they could do because it allows them to pretty much do whatever they want within Marvel.
Mhm.
It allows them to redo all of the old into something new, and I think that's going to be great. On top of that, there's reports that are saying like this movie is going to have the most Marvel characters in it. So
And, I've
that's
been waiting on this because if you read comics, Doctor Strange, the Avengers, the Defenders,
hmm
Spider Man, there are always characters flowing in and out.
yeah,
But movies will concentrate it just on one character and the villain opposing them. So it's good to see that they're making this more like a real comic.
yeah, yeah. I remember when the first Avengers movie came out, I was like, I don't know how it's gonna. I was doubting it was gonna be good because I was
So
like,
was
how
I.
do you get so many good characters?
Mhm.
How do you get so many main characters? And again, I think this is where Disney excels. I think this is where, sadly, like the DC movies struggle. You know, I went to quick story. I went to an actual premiere at the Disney Studios in Burbank for Ant Man,
Okay.
and after the movie, they had a panel, and it was with some of the producers and a lot of the guys who were doing like the CGI work,
Mhm.
and they were asking about all the struggles it was to create the small world and the big world within Ant-Man as he shrinks and as he goes back to regular size. And they're like, how did you guys navigate through that struggle? And one of the things they said has always stuck with me. They said, well, when you work with Disney, it's different because the best idea in the room always gets pushed forward. It
Okay.
doesn't matter how difficult it is, it doesn't matter what the budget is going to require. Disney always wants the best idea going forward. And so when I heard that and I think about all the movies and success they had, it's because they don't work with limits.
Interesting. Interesting. Mikey says here, FT with your amazing Steph Curry cards. You don't have any PMG Marvel. I don't have any PMG Marvel. That's what I'm learning. I'm trying to learn. I have a philosophy that I have to learn stuff before I start investing in things. So before I start buying.
Absolutely.
So that's why this conversation with the LA car guy is so crucial. And then I'm trying to do more research to understand kind of the crossover. I know there are a lot of people I've talked to who have PMGs in sports, and then they've tried to move over to Marvel. And I just want to learn more myself.
I hear you. When I first got into the hobby, I did about 6 months of market research before I started actually doing bigger buys and major buys. I was doing small buys on like Dodger guys that I liked and that I grew up with, and that I was comfortable holding on to. But it
Mm.
wasn't until I started making investment buys that I had done about 6 months of some good homework on what the hobby is and what I should be doing.
Do you think people do that today? Or you think that's a lost art?
I think it's a lost art,
I think
and
it's a lost art. Huh?
I think it's a lost art, and people need it. People need to do homework. I think everybody sees what's going on, and I think they just want to jump in and try and do the quick buck, but they don't realize, I have a day job, and when I'm done, I usually spend at minimum an hour each day of the week on eBay.
We're doing the
On
same thing, man.
Yeah,
We're the same
just
thing.
a cardboard connection, reading set lists. Like, you just have to put in that work. And I think sadly some people just maybe watch a 15-20 minute YouTube video and think, I'm in it, I can do it. There's a lot that goes on behind it.
Yeah, Mikey, that's what I plan to do. Also, I want to learn more about soccer. I get into other aspects of different kind of cars. But what you just said, I think when you you go to work and you come home and spend an hour a day, you have a genuine interest in what you're looking at.
Yeah.
I think I would think, you tell me if I'm wrong. When you come home and you start that process, you're no longer at work. Like, you enjoy this.
Yeah. And I'm married. I have a little boy, so I have a family. So I got to really set extra time to make that happen. And I think the people who are successful, they're diligent. They make sure that they do make that time, because you don't want to miss out on a good deal. You want to also stay on top of current sales.
That's
You
right.
want to know what's trending. I got about over a dozen things of saved searches that I check every single night. And those rotate. Once I'm done with that, I go on to the next save search. I don't keep the same 12 each month. It's a rotating list of things that I'm looking after and kind of trying to get an understanding of. That's a good habit to build if you want to get into this hobby, if you want to be successful, if you want to be behind a table or in front of the table and make a deal and be confident about the price you're asking for, about how much money you're putting into a card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do the same thing. Like, I tell people sometimes that I do research every day, even on the weekends. I'm somewhere doing research, and I also have a household here, have children here. I'm in a relationship here. There are things that I need to get done besides looking at cars, but I
Yeah.
try to make room for, like, let's say my kids go to sleep. All right, I start looking around a little something. If I'm watching a sporting event.
Yeah.
Tonight that the national championship game is on, but if it's a normal game, right, I'm always doing something while I'm watching sports. I'm doing something else. I'm researching something, looking at something, reevaluating something that I already have. I do that on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
But then I know when to break away and start trying to do something else that has nothing to do with sports cars. But to me, it's because I'm interested in it. You know,
Hmm.
maybe if people are interested to a certain level, and I'm not judging people. I'm just saying, if I get into a book and I really love this book, then I'm in that book, right? If I'm watching
Yeah.
a movie and I really enjoy the movie, I'm in that movie. So when people start doing research, that may bore some people. I know I've been in situations, even in school and academically, where I can get on a certain subject matter. Let's say I have to write a paper, right?
Hmm.
If that subject matter interests me, I'm writing that paper. I'm really into this thing. But if it's something that I'm just trying to get this paper done, then it's a whole different thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
hear
I
you.
think that goes with sports cars as well. Like, I asked a question yesterday. I was on a live. If you're buying cars or selling cars, have you looked at a graph of market value performance or dollar amounts on that car in the last 2 weeks? Do you know what that card is? What's happening with it? And I think a lot of people will probably say, "No, I haven't done that." But then I feel like you don't. I don't. Me personally, I'm gonna speak about me. I don't know when to buy that card if I don't know where it's being. What's the action on it? Is it going down? Is it more of a buyer's market? Is it going up? Am I paying more than I would have paid 2 months ago? Like I feel like I got to know all that
Yeah.
before I step to your table and start talking about something.
Yeah. No, that's totally true. Like I've had some vendors next to me, they'll see me, people bring up a card. Hey, are you interested in buying? Yeah. They tell me a price, I'm quick to buy it. And they're like, yeah, you didn't check any comps. It's because I'm living in comps. I'm living in seeing
Yeah,
what
speak
out of
on that.
99s do. I'm seeing what these refractors do. And that's a benefit that I have, to be able to go ahead and buy those things a little bit quicker rather than pulling out my phone and maybe jumping into a negotiation, um, which is not bad to do either. If you don't know it, those are the tools that we have,
That's right.
thankfully, to
Yeah,
go through that stuff.
you got information at your fingertips if you wanna see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the bench says I have to dip my toes into whatever I'm interested in to really learn about it past what you can find online. And then Brendan says, gotta love the strategy. Robert, Disney is everywhere in collectibles, trading cards, collectible pins, Lego, etc. Very true, Robert.
Very true.
Very true.